Hello, my name is Cinda Brock and I'm the founder and trainer for Champions Equestrian. And this morning what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with a Pessoa lunging system. And this is Razzle. He is a 12-year-old Oldenburg warm blood. He's trained in dressage and in jumping. And so he's advanced enough. We've gone through our lunging and we've gone through our Vienna reining to be able to put him on a Pessoa system. Hi, handsome. To be able to put him on a Pessoa system and work on a lunge line. For the initial lunging, what we're going to need is we're going to need a lunge whip. If your horse needs a little bit more encouragement as far as moving forward, a lunge whip would be appropriate. The other thing we've got is about a 15 to a 20 foot lunge line. That's what's going to keep the horse on the circle. And what I like to use is I like to use an attachment strap for my lunge line. So what happens with this attachment strap is that I can put this on the bit and know that I can get equal pressure when the horse is out on a circle and it attaches on both sides of the bit. It's going to allow me to put equal pressure whenever I have a snap attached for my lunge line. It stays in the center of the bit. These are easy to make if you don't have one of these. You know you can find one and purchase one, but you can also make one out of a twine. You can put two snaps on one end with twine, and then it allows you to just connect it on each side of the bit. My lunge line goes, of course, to the attachment strap. Now, if you don't have an attachment strap, an easier way to be able to put a lunge line on a horse, there's a few ways. You can run the snap through the inside of the bit in the direction that you're going to go. So because we're going to go to our left first, I have my lunge line attached, running through the bit under his chin, and it attaches to the bit on the other side. Occasionally you will get a fresh horse or a frisky horse, and what you have to do is you might decide to go ahead and take the lunge line over the top of their head and attach it to the other side of the bit. This would be probably the most extreme way or advanced way to be able to connect with a horse on a lunge line that might want to drag you down the arena or take off bucking or think that it's more about recess and less about work. For Razzle, he doesn't quite need this system, and because I've trained him, I'm able to use my lunge attachment strap. Those are ways though that you can attach a lunge line to a bit. A lot of people think that they can just attach a bit with a snap here, but you can hear once he starts moving and see how much the bit moves in his mouth. You can see he's not quite encouraged or excited about the bit moving that much in his mouth. So what we're going to do is either attachment or the two other placements that I showed you through the chin, or if you have a horse a little bit more strong in the lunge line, you can definitely put it over the top of his head. And the other thing we're going to need is just a good space. You know, this horse has worked in round pins, basic lunging, Vienna reining, and the Pessoa system we're going to use today. And so we're standing in the center in part of the arena, and we don't need a circle to be able to help him go around in the circle because he already knows how to do this. We're going to send him out on the line. Good boy. Good boy. So before we put the Pessoa system on, what we're going to do is we're going to warm him up. And so when it goes out on the line, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for connection with him. He's going to listen to my body language and he's going to listen to my verbal cues. The thing that we went through in the first video series is we talked a lot about how to even teach a horse how to lunge. And then we connected it with future systems. Good boy. Good boy. So when I let him out, I first expected him to walk. I don't want to teach a horse that when I put him on the lunge line, he can go out and explode with energy. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for him to listen to where my body is directing him. If you're watching me lunging, you're going to see that my hand that's holding Razzle in the direction I'm going, my left hand, because I'm tracking left, is holding the main line. The rest of my lunge line and my whip, if I need it, is in my opposite hand, in my right hand. And what you're going to see me do is I'm going to make my rope in such a way where I don't have the lunge line coiled or wrapped around my hand in any way. Because what I don't want to happen, good boy. What I don't want to happen while I'm lunging is I don't want to get tangled up in my arms and my hands and my boots, and I don't want to step in my line, because as soon as I connect my body to my horse and I don't know where my line is, anytime the horse decides to take off or start galloping or bucking, then I'm attached and coiled and wrapped up into that line. So one of the biggest things we're watching when we're lunging is we're making sure our system is safe. Not just for ourselves, but for our horse. So when you watch, I don't have anything coiled around my body. And that's really important. Here's the other thing you notice. I'm not dragging my lunge line on the ground. If I want to make a bigger circle, good boy, good boy. If I want to make a bigger circle, I just let him out on the line a little bit longer. If I want to make a smaller circle, I bring up my slack. But I'm never wrapping this system around my hands or my arms, okay? And Razzle is such a good boy. He is just trotting around, letting me talk and letting me set up my system as he's just listening. The best thing to do is to go ahead and set this up, especially if you're new to lunging and you're teaching a horse. The best way to do this is to stand and set it up before you let the horse move out. For Razzle, he's pretty advanced, and so he said, you know what, I'll just trot around my circle, you just get set up the way you need to be set up. Okay, this is a nice working trot. I've got him on about a 15-meter circle. I don't need a bigger circle right now. I'll probably send him out into about an 18 or a 20-meter circle as we keep working. Good boy. The other important thing that Razzle knows is he knows not only the body language, but the vocal commands. So I have him trained on the ground to where I cue him to do the gaits that he needs to do. And then when I get on his back, he understands that system already. Okay, canter, canter, good boy, good boy, good boy. And this is just your warm-up. I don't want to stick a system on a horse without giving them the opportunity to move their backs and their legs and their body. Good boy. And you're gonna watch him. When I've worked with Razzle, I can take a deep breath and do a downward transition. So when you watch, as soon as I took a deep breath, he is trained to do a downward transition. Okay, here's my working trot again. He's coming down, good boy. So this horse, I love this horse. He is so responsive. He is very athletic and very smart, okay? And we've spent a lot of time over his years developing the ability to do what you see here. Don't have the expectation when you first bring your horse out, good boy, to be able to just look like this, to be breath trained to where he does his transitions and does everything with such grace. You have to take the time to be able to train the horse to be able to do this. And so when you look at our lunging horse, he spent a lot of hours in the round pen. He spent a lot of hours, good boy, on a lunge line. He spent a lot of hours listening to my voice and breath. And so when I did downward transition with this horse, he literally just heard me go and connected that with his legs and his movement. And so now what we're gonna move to is we're gonna put the Pessoa system on and we're gonna show you how it works, how it operates, and what is the purpose of even putting this system on.